And so right now, we are going to go into a data presentation. We have a young man by the name of Russell Palmer. Russell, where are you? There you are. There you are. He's just going to give a data presentation on the 9 most interesting data points of the Mid-North area. For that, you want to help us?
Thank you, Karen. Hello, my name is Russell Palmer. I'm the intern for the CAD Eco Center. As you can see, I've been working for the Quality Life Plan, with the Quality Life Plan ever since the beginning of it. So I gathered 9 interesting facts for the Quality Life Plan data to show to you today, and see if you find them interesting. Okay. The first fact is, did you know in 2000, the Mid-North population in the year 2000 was 15,039 people. But according to the 2010 census, the current total of the Mid-North population in the Mid-North area is now only 10,910 people. We lost over 4,000. We lost somewhere 4,129 people. That is a 27% subtraction for the previous total amount since 2000. Fact 2. Did you know that the Mid-North population has a higher amount of people at the age of 9 and under, as well as a lower amount of people in the age range of 15 to 39. In general, there is a low proportion of people that can have children in the Mid-North area, which means the population growth in this area may decrease over time. Fact 3. Did you know that the number of households sold in the Mid-North area has dramatically declined between the years of 2005 and 2010. This echoes the same pattern seen in Marion County and is a direct result of the 2008 recession and subsequent collapse of the real estate market. Fact 4. Did you know in 2000 the median family income in the Mid-North area was $24,900, which is substantially below the Marion County rate, the Marion County rate of $46,276. Fact 6. Did you know that the unemployment rate in the Mid-North area at the time of the 2000 census tract was 12%, more than twice the rate of Marion County in total of just 5%. Fact 6. Did you know between the years of 2007 and 2008, in the IMPD service area, the robbery and crime rate in that area has declined slightly, but as for the Mid-North area, it has increased to 48%. Fact 7, Did you know that there are 4 historic districts in the Mid-North boundary, and also in the Mid-North boundary? Also, Meridian Park is also eligible to be registered in the National Registry of Historic Places. Fact 8. Did you know that the number of children eligible for the free lunch program were only available for a portion of the schools inside the Mid-North boundaries? In addition, there are several nearby schools outside the Mid-North boundaries that attend students that lives in the Mid-North area. Fact 9. Compared with all of Marion County, Mid-North contains a larger proportion of people larger proportion of males, in the age range to 70 to 79, and females in the age range of 80 to and older, which means that the women in the Mid-North area substantially live longer than the males here. I knew somebody was going to laugh on that. And thank you, that's my presentation.
My name is Brad Bobian. I'm a city planner working for Ball State University's College of Architecture and Planning Indianapolis Center. I'm here to assist the Mid-North planning process with planning-related issues. One of those issues is providing some data support so that we know where our neighborhood has been, where it's at currently, and so we can help plan for where we want to go in the future. There's a couple ways that you can do that. There's a couple ways you can determine where your neighborhood has been, where it's at currently. The first is data and looking at statistics, numbers from a variety of sources. And the other is talking to residents, talking to people in the neighborhood that experience some of the issues that we identify through the data in their everyday lives. And through these podcasts, we're going to do both of those. I'm going to spend a few minutes talking about some data-related issues, and then we're going to go onto the streets of the neighborhood. A lot of this data comes from the Mid-North Data Planning Handbook that was produced by the City of Indianapolis. This is available online through the planning website and in a variety of locations around the neighborhood in print. It's also available at every Action Team meeting. In addition to that, KI Eco has helped us produce some resource boards that summarize a lot of the data and pull them into issue topics. These are also available at the Action Team planning meetings. So use both of these as resources. A cautionary tale about data. Data tells you what is happening. It tells you the what. It tells you the raw numbers. It doesn't necessarily tell you why. Why things happen in the data is really open to interpretation. I'm going to tell you some interpretation that I see going through the data, but there are probably plenty of other plausible explanations that can happen. So as you go through the data and as you talk about it in your action teams, just be aware that some people may see the same numbers you do and have a different explanation. That's perfectly all right. That's the nature of data. So with that, we're going to go into talking about some data points and then meet some neighbors. When you think about education, there are really two sides to the equation. The first are the institutions in the neighborhood that provide education. So the public schools, the private schools, the charter schools, the colleges like Ivy Tech, the institutions that teach children, teach adults. And there's a whole set of data related to those institutions, and the City of Indianapolis has included a lot of that in the data book. So things like I-STEP scores and graduation rates and performance and all that. On the other hand, on the other side of the equation, you have the education of the people who actually live in the neighborhood, whether they're children or adults. And there's a set of data related to those, and that's really what I'm going to focus in on today. And so what you see on the chart on the screen here is a chart of education of Mid-North residents from the 2000 census. So it's a decade-old data, but it's really the best that we have. And what this is educational attainment. It's basically another way of saying how far you went in school. And so this is for all adults over age 25, and you see in 2000 about a third were high school dropouts. About another 30% had a high school diploma, and the rest had varying levels of college education, ranging from associate's 2-year degree to a bachelor's to a master's and to a professional degree. Educational attainment is very important because it is the single most important factor in determining one's opportunity in life. Now, other things do matter, things like race, gender, family, income, how far your parents went in school, those sorts of things. Those things do matter, and we'll see that in a second. But nothing matters more than one's education, and so that's what I'm really going to focus on today and show you why. So I'm going to fade those into the background, and on top of that you see this line that I've added, this green line. This is using 2008 numbers. This is the average earnings for everyone in the country based on their education level. And so you see over here on the left, for a high school dropout in America, their average annual income is about $20,000. You go to high school graduate and it increases roughly to about $30,000, and then you go increase all the way to the professional degree where the rocket scientists are, and it's well over $120,000. Income is not a measure of a good person. I'm not saying that a person with low income is a worse person than a person with high income. I think we can all understand that. And plenty of things do matter more than income, things like health and family and those sorts of things. but income is a great measure for one's opportunity in life, and I'll show you why. So on top of that green bar, I have these shaded bars, and this is basically the difference between levels of education and being a high school dropout. So if you went from being a high school dropout and got your high school diploma, every year you'd make a little over $10,000 more on average. That's every year. Now you take a typical 40-year work life, that adds up to about $410,000 difference. That's quite a bit of difference. That's a house or two or three, or some family vacations, or college education for your kids. If you were to go from being a high school dropout to getting your bachelor's degree here, the number increases to a little over $37,000. You take that over a 40-year work life, that's about $1.5 million. Go up to be a bachelor's degree, or excuse me, be a master's degree, that's about $50,000. That's almost $2 million more over one's life of work. So now we'll take a look at some of those disadvantaged populations. And you do see, I mentioned that there are other things in life that factor into one's earnings, and unfortunately race and gender and all that is one of them. And so here we look at the black population in America and their level of income based on education. And so you see it is a little lower than the overall population, but there is still the general trend of increasing. So as one's education goes up, income goes up. And so we'll add in those same shaded bars, and you can see similar numbers to what we saw with everyone else's. So if you were to go from being a high school dropout to having your master's degree, that's about $40,000 more per year. Over a lifetime, that's about $1.6 million. That's quite a bit of things you could do in life with $1.6 million extra. And you take a look at some other traditionally disadvantaged populations. You look at females there in pink, and you see that they are also lower. Gender does matter, unfortunately, but you do still see the same trend, and you see the same trend with Hispanics. So regardless of who you are, what color you are, what sex you are, where you come from, as your education goes up, so does your opportunity in life, represented here by income. So why does this matter? People with limited opportunity typically have low-wage jobs, are typically unable to save. They might typically rent housing more than they own it, and so it's much harder to build that savings, to build that equity, to build that wealth that you accumulate and hopefully pass on to your kids, so you give them a step up in life and help them improve their lot in life and move up the social ladder. People with lower opportunity are also typically associated with the greater crime rates, both being victims of crime as well as perpetrating it. People with lower incomes with less opportunity typically have less time to engage in community life. They're working more to make ends meet, and so there's less opportunity to engage in things like the PTA and the neighborhood association and the crime watch and the church functions, the things that really make a neighborhood work. And you also have some building condition, housing conditions, health-related concerns that are associated by people that have lower opportunity levels. And so I just bring this to your attention because, again, in 2000, a third of the adults living in the neighborhood had very limited opportunity and very low income associated with that. Roughly another third or so or at the next rung up. So they had their high school diploma, but even then your opportunity is limited. And so I point this out because everything begins with education.
Okay, hello. My name is Russell Palmer. I was just wondering if we can have an interview today and to see you can answer some of my friends here the questions they have for you. And sure. Your name?
My name is Jerome Arden.
Okay.
Your age?
I'm 24 years old.
What do you think about the education and jobs in this community?
Education and jobs in the community. Well, the education the schools that we have here in the community are 87, Addicts, Ivy Tech, Shortridge, School 44. Those schools are, they're okay. If you really want to get to the school system, I'm not that person to talk to you about that, about how the schools is made up and, the education system. But I mean, and as far as the jobs, I mean, it's not too many jobs because I mean, too many entrepreneurs. Well, entrepreneurs with their own businesses here. I mean, there's a lot of entrepreneurs as far as they're not registered with the state of Indiana. But there's a lot of entrepreneurs. She's an entrepreneur. She has a daycare. M's down here. You got Kenny down there hustling with rental properties. You got Fletcher used to cut grass, and you had old boy across the street who used to sit here and take old people to the stores, and that's how he got paid. So I mean, it's a lot of entrepreneurs in the community. Just, I mean, that's how you take it.
So dividing yourself is so lethal. While you thinking and dreaming, I'm steady being. Even with my eyes shut, I'm still seeing where I'm headed to, what I've been through. If life's a picture, look at what I drew. I can do whatever I decide to.